Welcome to another video class for the redox.com video series. Today our topic is sleep, and it's a near and dear topic to all of us. We take it for granted when we sleep well, but if we don't sleep well, oh my goodness, it's a big deal. So we're going to see if we can help you learn a little bit about the redox roots that are inherent with our sleep. Sleep is still quite a mystery. Medical science is still trying to figure out this amazing, hard to study part of our life. We spend a lot of time sleeping. Hopefully we should get 7 to 8 hours of sleep, but most Americans get a little less than that, and that is not a great thing for us in terms of adding up to a long life and making sure that our cells in our body get a chance to do the repair work they're supposed to do. Let's talk about the sleep cycles. Basically, we want to have around 5 sleep cycles every night. And they're broken up into 5 different compartments. There's REM sleep, which is rapid eye movement. Stage 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 is the deepest stage, and it's an important stage as well. But we travel through these cycles every night. And as the night progresses, the amount of time we spend in REM sleep, which is dream sleep, expands. And that's why most of us are kind of glad to have that early morning longer, because we get to do more dreaming, and it's more restorative to have that REM sleep. So sleeping in is actually very restorative, and that's why. So what drives sleep? What makes sleep work? Mostly it revolves around hormones that are being communicated from certain parts of our brain based on our visual input of darkness, based on our input from hormones in our body, including our adrenal glands, telling the brain we are tired, we are fatigued, we need to have some restoration. So hormones drive it, and oxidative stress drives this. So when we physically have exerted ourselves, we need to restore our bodies, and it gives a signal to the brain, hey, you need to get some rest. So to fight against that is going against our biology, and we tend to do that. In fact, we reach for some caffeine because we need to stay up late to study or do something, and it's going against our biology, and there are consequences to that. Okay, the purpose of sleep is basically to do 2 things. The brain cells have, as they go about their business of day-to-day life, our brain cells actually depolarize. It means they lose their electrical balance. And as you know, brain cells create electrical messages, and if they're discharged, then they're vulnerable. And so it's interesting, even epileptic seizures will happen when people are sleep deprived because the cells are depolarized. So during sleep, our brain repolarizes the cells, and we just feel restored. The brain fog goes away. We feel better. Part 2 of sleep's purpose is to allow for repairing and replacement of every single cell in our body. We're busy in the daytime. Our body gets busy at night. It does all of its repair work, virtually all of it, while we're sleeping. There's one organ, our heart, that never really rests, and it's beating all the time, and it has mechanisms that allow it to do this repair and replace on the run. But our body likes to be able to just relax and do this repair work while we're sleeping. So let's talk about problems that can arise with sleep, and then look at the redox roots behind this. The most common problem is apnea, and there's 2 kinds of apnea, where we have interrupted breathing while we sleep. And the brain is in charge of our breathing while we sleep. It's automatic. There's a part of our brainstem that is making sure this happens. But sometimes the brain itself forgets to breathe. It doesn't get the message. And there's breakdown in some of these hormone messages inside our brain, and that creates a problem. The other problem is if we're having trouble with our airway in our neck, and we're snoring or blocking this airway, and that obstructs the breathing. So as we do this, there's a drop in our oxygen levels in our body that can be significant. The other problem is insomnia. Insomnia is essentially found in 3 main ways: hard to get to sleep, hard to stay asleep, don't wake refreshed. or wake too early. So all of those revolve around the inability of the body to get into these cycles properly. In order for that to happen, there has to be proper communication going on with the brain and the hormones that are driving the whole issue of getting into sleep. The messages that say, get to bed, get to sleep, you need the rest. And so we can have imbalances with our immune system, imbalances with our adrenal glands, imbalances with our blood sugar. All of these things will disturb our ability to get to sleep and to stay asleep. Even if we're hurting, like from a bad back or sore muscles, that will disturb our sleep. We'll wake up and have a hard time getting back to sleep, depending on what part of the cycle we woke up in. So what are we going to do here? So both of these issues have a common root, a problem, and that revolves around issues of generating, when we are having trouble with sleep and not getting adequate sleep, or trouble with breathing because of apnea, science has shown that there's a buildup of an imbalance of reactive molecules, the redox molecules that we love to talk about. And so there's a buildup of a certain kind. They're called reactive oxygen species, and they're outnumbering the reduced species, the opposite charge. So we got an imbalance in the charges of our redox molecules, and they need to be in balance. This imbalance is a real problem for us. And so we have to cope with this. If we don't, it signals stress. And when our body is stressed with imbalances like this, it just sort of upsets the whole cart, and we start to shift into survival mode. And above all, our body is geared to survival. So as we see this buildup of oxidants, buildup of sort of a free radical situation, then the body says, okay, there must be a plague, a war, a famine, something's wrong. We're not going to sleep. We're going to stay awake, and we're going to keep Rob alive. That's more important than sleeping right now, because something's out of balance. And so this is our built-in survival mechanisms that allow us to cope and adapt. But listen, if this is going on day after day after day, I'm going to start breaking down, because I'm not getting repair work done in my body, and I'm not restoring the electrical balance in my brain cells. And that's going to lead to depression, mood disorders, anxiety, etc. And this is going to lead to aging of every cell in my body, because they're not getting the repair work done they need. So this was an interesting study done in a journal called Free Radical Biology and Medicine in 2006. And it's referenced in our sources at the website. All right, so what can we do? What are some of the solutions? We need to restore cellular balance and communication. Well, getting back to some of the basics, allowing us to have some sleep, reducing stress in our lives, losing weight that's causing obstructive apnea, making sure we're not going to bed with worries on our mind or watching television in our bedroom, which really is not healthy for us. It stirs up our senses in ways that is the electrical input is really not that healthy for us. So if we can or can't make some of these adjustments, that's all great. But one of the most amazing experiences I've had in my life is to witness an improvement in my sleep that occurs when I supplement my body with redox molecules. It's fascinating. It's as though I'm providing a resource to correct this imbalance. And there's going to be some of this that happens in life. We're not, as we age, we're not perfect. As children, we have really perfect. Watch a sleeping baby, they sleep all day long, and you watch their eyeballs move as they're dreaming. It's just a beautiful thing to behold. But as we live life, things get a little off course. It is amazing what we can do when we provide a resource of balanced redox molecules to help restore some of these key steps. And so regardless of whether or not you're having, one kind or another of an issue, redox molecules work at such a foundational, deep level in our cell physiology that it helps. It literally helps. So for example, this balance in brain cells, these little molecules can travel across the blood-brain barrier. And as they do, they bathe these brain cells in a balanced resource of reactive oxygen species and reduced species. And it just provides such a amazing leg up in the restoration process. So I hope that helps you understand a little of our physiology, a little bit about how supplementing redox molecules can assist, and I wish you all a great night's sleep. Thank you.